CALI. Welcome to the webinar on using CALI lessons in your teaching with Professors Deb Cohen and Sally Wise and our Director of Curriculum Development, Deb Quintel.
What I first wanted to talk about was how I use CALI lessons. I teach, advanced legal research courses, and I teach also courses on foreign and international legal research, Florida legal research. So I teach 3 credit and 1 credit courses. And what I found over the years that I've used CALI lessons in a couple of ways. The legal research CALI lessons. One is mandatory. I've learned over the years that just to give them reading sometimes on legal research, it may be just a little bit dry. And so I kind of change it up and may ask them to skim some material, but make a CALI lesson mandatory. And so I think they enjoy that because that gives them kind of more, they skim, they also look at the CALI lesson, and I think that finds it useful. Again, they're doing something a little bit different than just sitting in the chair reading. And I also use them as supplemental. Just like I may use them reading as supplemental, I use the CALI lessons that way. So I have found that works out really pretty well. And the students really, I think, enjoy doing something a little bit different. Now, how my students access the lessons, you can have them access them through Twin or Lexis. So it's really easy for them to do that they can just do it through the course web pages and they don't have to go to the CALI website. Just, tell them what lesson it is and they can zip over to the CALI website and pick it up that way. Or you can do the lesson link, which Austin was just mentioning, which is I'm going to talk about in a little bit later, which also gives you additional information about who has done the lesson and how well that person has done on the lesson. So it's a little bit different, gives you some other ideas. First, I just want to show this is my Twin page for international and foreign law legal research. And on the left, you can see, hopefully, in the navigation bar, the 4th one down is CALI lessons. So what I've done is if they go through the syllabus, I tell them when to read the CALI lessons, when they're mandatory, when they're supplemental. So, but it's also easy for them to access if they need to. I also have given them the CALI disc, the DVD disc, so if they want to do it that way, they can. So let me just go to the next screen, and this shows just on my student screen for the international and foreign legal research what I am having them use as CALI lessons. And as you can see, they're kind of a mix of both, customary international law is, talking about customary international law, but you can also see that there's some also introduction to foreign legal research, private international legal research, and then actually Utah legal research showed up, and that's how you add lessons. Sometimes I didn't quite add the lessons in the right way, and this is, if you're using Twin, this is how you make the decision which lessons to add to your course webpage. You can see, there are hundreds of CALI lessons, and so you have to click to make sure the ones that you want, and somehow along the line I got Utah. But there have been times when I've done it this way using the Twin, and other times where I've just said, okay, students, these are the CALI lessons, just go to the CALI website. So you can do it both ways. And here's if you just want to do the CALI website, you can just send the students over here, and then they can find the lessons that way. And they don't have to go through the Twin. They can just go to CALI. but what I wanted to mention was lesson links. And this is a service that CALI provides, that what I do is I create a link to the CALI lessons I want my students to use, and I give them this link. So if they access the lessons through this link, and I would probably put the link on I could send it to them in an email, or I could put it on the course homepage, then when the students access the lessons through that link, and if they upload their score, I can see how well the students did, that they actually took the lesson. They did do the lesson. But also I have an idea how what answer the students gave to the question. Because if they've uploaded that CALI score, then I can see, well, everybody didn't get the third question correct. And so then I can look back at that and decide maybe I need a little bit of review here, or I need to think about something a little bit different. So the lesson link does give you some added information about how the students are doing in that topic. As you can see on the PowerPoint, the score save feature is not working right now.
Hey, Sally?
But yes?
Sally? Yeah,
yes.
I have some good. I got a chat from excited Elmer Masters who says score save is working. So
yay! Okay.
That feature is available.
Well, all right. So use that feature, and then you get an idea where you might want to do a little bit of review. Now, I must say that when you use this feature, sometimes it takes a little extra discussion with the students so that they understand that they need to use the CALI lessons through that link. But it does give you much more interesting information about how the students are understanding the topic. Now, for Lesson Link, Deb has done a webinar such as this for tools for professors using CALI lessons, and it's on Lesson Link and auto-publish. And it would be a good one, as Austin was mentioning, on the Blip TV. And then here is also the link on the 3-minute video that Austin mentioned. And now I want to just talk a bit about auto-publish, because it's another interesting CALI service that you can use with CALI lessons. And it is a way that you can use CALI Author to let faculty or students create their own lesson quizzes, study aids. But it's also, you can take a lesson that has already been produced and is out there and you've used before, but for your class you would like to make a few little changes in it, or add more questions, or add something specifically for your state law, etc. And you can do that. So it's entirely possible to use the CALI lessons, but also to change them a little bit for what you're interested in. So that would be something that I think would be really, it's a really neat feature. And this is, again, the tools for professors using CALI lessons. This is that same webinar, but below it is an FAQ that you can find on the CALI website that talks about how you might do that. And my understanding is from that you do need to get in touch with Deb Quintel, the Director of Curriculum Development, on actually, getting permissions, et cetera, to do that. So that would be, but it's something definitely to explore on using, the CALI auto-publish. And that's actually what I would like to cover. So I think I'm ready, unless there are any questions, to turn it back over, hopefully, to Deb Cohen, who has PowerPoints on her screen. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think are there any questions? Does anybody in the audience have anything they want to say? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So Deb, I think you said you're ready then?
I think I am. If the ghost of Sally's goes away when you turn it over to me, we will be good.
Okay, let's give it a try then. All right, thank you, Sally. And
you're welcome.
Deb Cohen.
Everyone see my screen?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Good to go then. As we'll say, take two. Always better the second time around. I'm Deb Cohen, and I am a longtime advocate of CALI. I begin to hate to reveal how many years I've been working with and using and advocating for CALI. I think it's an amazing, valuable resource that we as faculty and staff at law schools need to be informing our students about from the moment they get here, because it's free to them and they spend so much time and money on so many other things that if we can give them such a valuable tool for no money, I think we need to be doing that. I am going to talk about how I use CALI lessons in my teaching, and this spans a decade and a half of teaching and academic success, and so we'll see a little bit about the different ways that I have used it over the years. I'm going to talk first about how I use it in my first year class. In my particular case, it's contracts right now, and then how I use it in my upper level class, particularly biz orgs, and finally how I've been using it in academic success. And please feel free to interrupt, because I do find it quite strange to be doing a presentation to a telephone. In terms of using CALI lessons in my first year class, again, I think that it's important to introduce our students to this resource from the very beginning. I cannot tell you the number of students who in their second and third year discover CALI and say, why didn't I know? And I know that the librarians out there have been offering it in the libraries for years, and I know I'm probably preaching to the converted when I speak to this crowd of people, but any way you can get your colleagues to get them to at least tell students about CALI from the day they get there, orientation is the best thing we can do. In my 1L class, I link the contract lessons to my TWEN page, as Sally showed you. I also reference them on my course memo, where I give explicit instructions on how to log in, and I give them the password that they have to have the first time, so I make it as simple as possible. Somehow, if they have to go elsewhere, it always slows them down. I also talk about it in class. I figure if I can hit them 3 different ways, I've got a better shot. To people who are teaching, I really, really recommend the lessons that come from the CALI fellowships. There have been a number of fellowships over the years, and Deb, you can chime in. I think you've covered most of the first year classes at this time. I know you've done contracts and property and tort and crim law, and there's also been a BizOrgs fellow, an evidence fellowship, and a number of others. I think there was just most recently a family law fellowship.
Right, family law, criminal procedure, copyright, trademark, a patent law pod. I think we've done about 12 fellowships. You're right, Deb.
And one of the reasons I really like the lessons that come out of fellowships is because the faculty who do these as fellows create a whole structure, and there's actually a logical sequence and breakout of the lessons. So you tend to be able to fit them into your class and know where they'll fit well. So I'm a big advocate, and I believe that Deb has some subject grids that can help you if you need some assistance in thinking about what to cover where. Also, there are some textbook correlation grids out there, so if you are using CALI lessons and your textbook is one of the ones that has been correlated, you can actually see which lessons we would recommend to which sections, which can be very helpful at syllabus time. The reasons I like to use these lessons are varied, and I want to just spend a minute talking about them, because I sometimes think some of us focus on one and not the other, or vice versa. They are a phenomenal opportunity to reinforce substantive law. Particularly in a 1L class, you cannot reinforce substantive law often enough. They don't get how well you need to know it. So you can use these lessons to reinforce the law, but you can also use them to really, really teach students the law school skills, the legal thinking skills that they want. They are phenomenal for helping students issue spot. They're great for helping them expand their framework of reference. The more times they see things raised with different facts, the wider their experience becomes and the more likely they are to identify it on an exam. I tell students to go to them to practice. You know, first-year students particularly want examples to practice with. And it's very hard for them to go out and find them because they have to be based on what they've covered so far. You don't want students going out and getting a question that they're going to try and force into something that they've covered when, in fact, it addresses a subject matter that they haven't gotten to yet. Also, I really like to encourage CALI for my kinesthetic and visual learners. I am a huge advocate of helping students identify their learning preferences and encouraging them to find learning strategies that are geared towards helping them learn quicker, better, smarter. And kinesthetic and visually oriented students tend to really thrive on CALI lessons. The last thing I really like them for is I encourage students to go out and explore not only the correct answers, but the incorrect answers. Because I think that trains them to answer exam questions and think about why they should not go down certain roads and what would be an obvious distractor on a multiple choice question or a red herring on an exam. So in my first year class, I really use them to stress those kind of things. In my second year class, which is BizOrg, and in the interest of full disclosure, I was one of the BizOrg fellows, and so when I do require some of the lessons, they do feel obligated to do them as I am the author of some of them, and I think that really helps, but I think that other people can convince their students to do that. So in my BizOrg class, I do require some of them, but I recommend others, and I do set this out on my syllabus. And here are the reasons I use them in my upper level class. I recommend them to students for the clarification when they are finding a particular issue confusing or want additional practice. That's the common reason I do it all the time. I also use it for synthesis. As I get into my upper level classes, I don't like to do the traditional cases all the time and then a hypo. I sometimes just like to come in and talk about hypos and see if they can do all the analogies and distinctions on their own. And so I will have them do the CALI lessons, and then I'll take from the examples there and maybe spin a few alternative yarns that I build off of those to take them through the synthesis part of learning. And finally, I do use them for coverage alternatives. There are some great BizOrg lessons out there that are very discrete, half-hour, 45-minute lessons that cover issues that I don't have time to do in my 3-credit business organizations class. I'd love to. I think they're valuable, and I assign them as coverage alternatives. I tell them that I do test on them, usually in the objective multiple choice part of my exam, which encourages them to do it, but that is the other way I use them. The way I really reinforce the importance is on my midterm, I always take at least one question from a CALI lesson and use that so that they feel, in fact, that, oh, I really do test this is important. Finally, the way I've been using it most recently is through my work in academic success. And actually, Sally just gave me a wonderful idea to help my students create their own study aids with auto-publish. I mean, I think that's a great option that they can create, pull questions from all the different contract lessons and create their own study guide for the end of the semester. CALI provides me with a lot of resources as an academic success professional. Students who are having difficulty with a particular subject, I have resources. I am not an expert in most of these areas, and so it's really nice to have questions and answers that I can direct them to. Students love immediate feedback for those of us who have been doing the grading, and I try to do it quickly, but never as quickly as CALI can give it immediately. So here again, students who want to know, am I getting it? I need to get some assessment, some feedback. Here it is, right in a CALI lesson. And again, I think that this helps law students, particularly the ones who are struggling in law school, to expand their field of examples and thereby begin to understand the very many different ways legal issues can be raised I think it helps students to be able to go through and see wrong answers, to explore both the right and the wrong possibilities, and to learn from the explanations why things are in fact wrong. I think I have about used up my time. Deb?
You've got about 1 minute left, Deb.
All right, well, I have spoken quickly, probably too quickly, but I will throw it back over to you or to questions.
Yeah,
Well, I did have... Oh, you've got some, Austin? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I just have one question, Deb, for you. If you were trying to advise someone else who works in academic success programs, where would you suggest that they start, or how would you suggest they start looking at the CALI materials to best work with their students?
You know, we had an entire conference this summer for academic success professionals, and we did a presentation on CALI for them there. There are lots of ways to start. It depends on which aspect you want to do. You can go to the webpage and look at all the lesson subject areas. That's a great way to get a feeling for what's out there. You can talk to experts who have used it. You can talk to the fellows who have done some of these. They can tell you what are particularly good. For example, I can give you some guidance on the BizOrg lessons, and I've used a lot of the contracts lessons, so I have some feedback there. You can go to the professors in your area and ask them if they've looked at them and if there are any lessons they think would be particularly helpful. But mostly, you know, my experiences are that the students absolutely adore the evidence lessons, particularly the hearsay lessons. All of my students who are struggling in evidence come back and say those were lifesavers. So that's one area I'd say for upper level classes, they've been really, really helpful.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. I just have a question for our audience. If you could just raise your hand, is anybody new to CALI Lessons? Have most of you used them before? If you haven't, could you raise your hand? Yeah, I think most of us have used CALI Lessons, so I was just interested to know if there was any new users out there. All right, is there anything else? Deb, Deb Quintel, anything you'd like to add?
No, I want to thank our two professors for participating in the panel. Oh, Deb Cohen, is there a plug you can put in? Was the seminar this summer you went to the conference, was it archived? Is there something people can...
I believe that the presentation was all sponsored by LSCAS, and they, I believe, posted all of the information on the academic support website, which Ruth Ann McKinney will put together for them. I don't have the exact site, but if you get on the academic support listserv or blog, you can get the information there, absolutely. And if you know, academic success professionals are pretty good about sharing that information. I do have a PDF somewhere that I could dig up if anyone wants it and send it to them also.
Thank you.
Okay,
I don't have anything else to add.
We might have a question here. Somebody actually does know the site. It's lawschoolasp.org.
I believe that is it, but I don't want to play with my computer right now.
Yeah. Yep, so it's lawschoolasp.org. All right, I think that's it. I want to thank our panelists so much. Great job. We really appreciate it. Again, look for this to be archived at calivideos.blip.tv. And as you leave the webinar, you should get a survey, I think. Should pop up on your screen. It should at least. If it does, go ahead and answer those questions for us and give us some feedback because we want to hear from you. So again, thank you so much to our panelists, and we will see you next time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great job, folks. Thank you.